Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Jar Jar Binks.
Yes, we are.
Ahmed Best, he got his blue check on Twitter, so there's a little bit of good Twitter news.
Yeah, but I'm still pissed. Because, and people are like, wow, how can you be? I'm pissed because why did he just now get a blue check on Twitter?
That's a damn good question.
That's why I'm pissed. I'm like, why is Ahmed Best happy he got a blue check? Because he should have had it prior to this. This is ridiculous.
We're going to talk about this because, yeah, I mean, it's good that Ahmed Best got his check, right? But Twitter's verification process is really wonky, and it tends to skew toward journalists with a particular
It's biased and wonky.
Yeah, a political affiliation. That's so weird. Ahmed Best, who was one of the leads in The Phantom Menace, which was one of the highest grossing movies of all time, took him how many years to get a blue check, but somebody can go write like 2 articles for Polygon
and use certain trigger words about orange people, and they're allowed to have a blue check.
Yeah, so this just shows how
bullshit Twitter is?
How bullshit Twitter is. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Ahmed Best. We're going to talk about how he's actually a really good guy. And
which we've mentioned before.
We've mentioned it before, but how he's being weaponized, unfortunately, by the other blue checks, the media, to attack Star Wars fandom. And then we're going to talk about people who are leaving Twitter. And then we're going to talk about more Twitter drama over John Krasinski.
Yes. So buckle up and grab your butts. Here we go.
Yeah, so let's talk about Ahmed Best first.
Okay, so I already did a story on this on piratesandprincesses.net because, in case you're unaware, there's a new game show for kids. It's kind of like in the lines of like Double Dare or something like that, where it's part trivia, part physical challenges. It's called Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge, and it's on StarWars.com, Star Wars Kids, Kids Online and .com on YouTube. Anyway, that's all over the place, but you know what I mean. Anyway, they brought him back, and he is the host of the show. He is now playing Jedi Master Kelleran Beck.
Okay.
And I guess they pushed it back a week because of the stuff that was going on. And it launched yesterday. I haven't got to see it yet. I do want to see it because it looks really cute. And he's very excited to be doing this. But what he's most excited about, like yesterday, was that he finally got a blue check mark. Blue check mark. The Force is strong with you all. Thank you. Now, Ahmed Best is one of like the sweetest people ever. Like, we've seen him at events and we've seen interviews with him, and he's just a sweetheart. And yeah. I know for a while there, oh my God, the media, because they were trying to be like, look, see, toxic, Star Wars fans are toxic as long as they're everybody but us, kept trying to weaponize Ahmed Best by saying, you were mean to him, and that's why, bad things happened, and how dare you, Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, pretty much. When the Kelly Marie Tran thing didn't stick, they pulled out Ahmed Best. And it's really sad because he kind of came out of, I guess, semi-retirement. He was on a couple of YouTube podcasts, and he seemed like a really cool guy who was basically just following direction.
Right, yeah. He gave George Lucas options, and that's the one he went with.
Yeah.
But he was still really popular with kids, and a lot of people liked Jar Jar and still do because they were kids when it came out, and they really liked him. And he's always had a really good attitude about it. And he said before it wasn't because of the fans that he had a problem with. So anyway, the media tried to use him against the fans, which he put the kibosh on. Which is maybe why he didn't have blue check till now. But then he's talking about the show, and he said about how he's happy because his favorite fans are on the show and they're kids. And he said, it's always been kids who've been my favorite Star Wars fans and are able to give back to kids as something special. Now, this is why you say anything bad about my best, you're a dick. Anyway, because he's just a sweetheart, and I think most Star Wars fans agree, whether you like or not like the prequel movies, Ahmed Best is still awesome.
Yeah, he was unfairly used by the media back in the day. Because here's the thing, because a lot of people who are using Kelly Marie Tran now to make a point, they don't remember when The Phantom Menace came out, or they weren't old enough to remember when The Phantom Menace came out. And I remember all the stories.
It was the media who would perpetuate a lot of it.
It was the media. They're basically like, oh, it was a racist movie. He's a racist stereotype.
Right. It was the media, not the fans.
And he did what he thought was the best job he could do based on what George Lucas gave him to work with. And the media just, they did it. I mean, I know a lot of fans didn't like Jar Jar Binks,
but they were like pushed by the media. So, but you can not like Jar Jar Binks and not be mean to Ahmed Best,
Right. He's just an actor doing this thing.
Right. So. And so, I mean, we've always thought Jar Jar was a bit annoying. However, we would never have been mean to Ahmed Best because actually, even then, he was just a sweetheart. So it's like I don't like Rose Tico, but I think Kelly Marie Tran's a sweetie, and I'd give her a hug if I saw her because she's just so cheerful. I just love her. Anyway, so. Here's this comment though, and I, as a teacher and a mom, I appreciate this comment because I think you want everybody to win, but not everybody can win. And instead of being like everybody should win, that's how it should be. It's like, well, we'd love to see everybody win, but there's a lesson to be had here, and that's how he takes it. And I love this. He said one of the biggest challenges is when the contestants didn't win. They made it all the way to the end, and they didn't capture the Kyber crystal, and they couldn't get their lightsabers. Keep in mind these are children. You really want everybody to succeed, and you really want everyone to be able to hold their lightsaber up at the end of the game. But not everyone's going to do that. Each time you tried to find the right words, so it wouldn't feel like a disappointing moment. You can feel the start of something great. So take the disappointment and the failure and turn it into something good. The beginning of a new way to look at training. And I hope that's what kids take away from this game. I hope they look at this game and say, finally, we get to see what it takes to become a Jedi. And if you don't make it, that's okay too. You just have to keep working at it. And that's what I like about this, because it's not like everybody should just automatically win because they're there. Sometimes you're not going to win, and you can glean positive things out of that, and you could, keep working at it and turn it to your advantage, which is something that we personally agree with, because sometimes failure is the best thing that can happen to you.
Yeah, it's you basically learn what not to do so you can zero in on what you need to do. And that's, successful people. I mean, it's so funny. You always see people that are like, oh, they were an overnight success. And sometimes they are. But if they're younger, a lot of times I think their success was manufactured, or they just got really damn lucky. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times if they have too much too soon, they don't know what to do with it. And since they never had to work their way to success, they don't maintain their success. Right. They burn out.
And I think it teaches perseverance and grit, which is very, very important. And, and we know for a fact Ahmed Best has had his fair share of both, having to deal with failure and perseverance and grit, because he's taken so much shit. But he even said he didn't think he'd get another chance at Star Wars. He's been saying things that wanted to come back, but he didn't think he'd get a chance. He said, I never thought I'd be asked back, to be honest. I was very pleasantly surprised. What really made me say yes was the fact this was breaking new ground in the Star Wars universe. I think what's most important about the representation of someone like Kelleran Beck, as far as being a person of color and the leader of this temple, kind of like the Dean of Jedi. It breaks down what's impossible, it breaks down what you can do, and it creates just a brand new world of possibilities out there. So everything he does, he kind of puts this positive spin on, which I find so wholesome.
Yeah, he actually seems, I'll be honest, because I was watching his, he had a couple of live streams on YouTube. People sort of like tracked him down. I mean, this is, we're talking like 4 or 5 years ago. They tracked him down to find out what the hell happened. What happened to you, Ahmed Best? And he just seemed like a very genuine guy. And unfortunately, I think he just got caught up in something bigger than himself. And it was unfortunate. And a lot of it, I'm going to be honest, I remember, was the media pushing the Phantom Menace is racist and Jar Jar Binks is a problematic character.
Right. And, people didn't like Jar Jar Binks, but they weren't making it that way. The media vilified it. And here's the thing. It's like, it's nice to have someone who's out in Star Wars that's really positive for Star Wars and is talking about, hey, we're breaking some new ground here, but they're not doing it in a way that's like, did I mention women? Did I mention, representation? Did I mention, and if you don't like it, then you're some kind of bleepity 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 bleep. He doesn't even go there. He's just like, I'm just going to choose to be positive, and it's nice because you got representation, but it's representation that's done organically, and it's not being like, did you get this?
Yeah,
you better get this.
I actually wish Ahmed Best all the best. That's an awkward thing
I know,
to say,
but you know what?
I do. I would like to see him. I mean, if they're gonna keep pushing him in Star Wars, give the guy something else. Though. You don't want him to get typecast as the Star Wars guy.
Well, yeah, I agree. But you know what? Here's the thing: he shouldn't have been taking this long to get his damn blue check, which they happened to give him on the day that the show premiered. Which was supposed to premiere a week ago. Why didn't he get it a week ago?
Marketing.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's absolute crap. They didn't give him his blue check till now.
All right, so do we want to talk about
how blue checks work?
How blue checks work?
Oh yes, please do.
And okay, so let's look at Twitter by the numbers. Twitter, we've been very critical of Twitter in the last couple of days because Twitter has gone absolutely batshit insane.
Critical more in the last couple of days, but more critical
because everybody's getting canceled, and we're going to talk about that and how I think there's going to be a mass exodus from Twitter, especially this year since it's an election year. 80% of Twitter users are affluent millennials.
Oh, yeah, surprise there.
So that shouldn't surprise anyone.
I'm surprised that there's the 66% are males and only 34% are female, because normally you hear more shit out of the women.
Yeah.
And I'm a woman saying that, so.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. So anyway, they're saying there are ad engagements. I don't see many ads on Twitter.
There's ads on Twitter?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. You know what would cut down? It would both make Twitter more money and cut down on the toxicity. Paywall.
Pay to play.
Pay to play. Are you serious? Are your hot takes so important that you're willing to spend even $5 or $10 a month?
Well, let's be honest here. Most people wouldn't pay to Twitter.
They wouldn't. So that's it.
That's why they won't do it.
So that's what. Hey, if they're affluent millennials, they can afford $5 or $10 a month to tweet their hot takes, but they won't do it. So the verification process on Twitter is weird. They claimed that they pulled verification a couple of years ago because they accidentally verified a white supremacist.
But now you can't get verified, and they verify who they want, who happen to all be the same opinion agenda that they lean.
That is it. Verification was meant to, this is like 3 years ago. Verification was meant to authenticate identity and voice, but it is interpreted as an endorsement.
No, it didn't. It just meant that you verified they are who they say they are. That's how I always took it. I never took it as an endorsement.
There for a while, they actually had open, this is where all the comic book people come in. They actually had open verification that basically if you did anything even remotely in the public eye and you submitted your driver's license or whatever, they would give you a blue check. They stopped doing that because everybody and their brother and sister and uncle and cousin was getting verified. So that's why you have these people. It's like, I drew one comic book. Here's my blue check. I wrote 2 articles for Polygon 3 years ago. Here's my blue check.
Right.
Well,
now you could just write an article on Polygon, write 2 now, and suddenly you get a blue check when no one else can apply for a blue check, but you get one somehow.
Yeah, so what they do now is they basically take it on a case-by-case basis. They decide. And that's a problem, too, because...
we have firsthand experience of why it's a problem.
Yeah, so we had, a couple months ago, we had somebody outright impersonating us.
I mean, it's down to the name and logo.
Down to the name and logo, and they were interacting with our followers.
And we had to threaten calling our lawyer.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Why are you... Because you're allowed to have a parody account, but they were not clear they were
They were not marking it parody.
No,
they were
no.
using the same logo. They were using the same name. There was nothing marking it as parody.
Yeah, so they were, I think, an activist type or disgruntled Disney
They were
fan.
pissed we didn't like Disney.
That's what the whole
they
thing was.
thought we didn't like Disney, even though we do like Disney. We just don't like what Disney does. So because of that, they got their panties in a twist and were up there trying to impersonate us. And they were actually going out to big accounts that we actually knew, because you wrote some of them people because you knew them.
I had to write them and be like, hey, just so you know, because unless you looked at the username, there was no indication that it wasn't
right.
us.
And they actually had noticed it already and were aware.
Yeah, they're like, we're already
But
blocked
some of
them.
the big places they were out there going and going like atting to try to cause us issues. We actually know a lot of these people, and so we were able to be like, just so you know, and they were blocking them because they knew it was fake.
Yeah.
But we went to Twitter, and Twitter's basically like, and we were trying to get them to blue check the account because, well, it's notable enough. We have a play button and everything else. And we were trying to get them to blue check the account to make sure people would know which one was the actual account, because we had a legit fake account impersonating us, which they wouldn't do.
Yeah, so it's Twitter's verification process is very selective.
It's bullshit.
Again, in our case, we just wanted to verify, just to make sure people knew they were actually talking to us and not people pretending to be us. But, since I've never written for Polygon...
Well, here's the thing. If it was based on if you've been a professional editor, writer, worked for publications, which you have.
Yeah, I have.
We've both worked on stuff that was, mainstream. You should have blue check anyway. You worked on comic books for several comic book publishers.
Yeah, we were
other artists and colors have blue
conventions for
checks.
years.
Our comic is in Wikipedia, for pity's sake, and it's protected in Wikipedia. That's a whole other story. We're protected in Wikipedia and everything because it was a legit thing that we had done, and it was verified, and we had like actual anchor articles from major news sources. We have actual anchor articles from major news sources for our Pirates and Princesses too.
Yeah.
Again, they won't give blue checks for anything, even with proof.
Verified guest at comic book conventions for many years.
Doesn't matter.
Worked on Eisner-nominated comics.
Doesn't matter. Don't get blue check because they think that we don't lean the way that they think that we should or whatever, but we do, which is funny. Everybody always assumes that we're Republicans, so I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk because people are leaving. They're leaving Twitter. And again, we've been talking about how Twitter's been canceling people that might be 90% on board with things, but not that 10% is what's going to get them canceled. And Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said that John Campea, formerly of Collider, and then he went out and started his own thing, I guess, had a rant yesterday and he quit Twitter. But a lot of what he's saying, now I know a lot of people don't like John Campea because they think he's a sellout, whatever. That's not the issue. The issue here is he's saying a lot of things that we've been saying, which is basically you can agree with a lot of the sentiment, but not agree with every nut and bolt, and you'll get canceled. And we've seen it with celebrities this week like crazy. They've been canceling people. He said, I'm going to get off Twitter, and he has. His account's not there. Ideally, it seems like it should be a platform to express opinions and thoughts on issues, even heated ones. Instead, I've seen a lot of people weaponize it and use it at a safe distance to try to eradicate people. And we're going to talk about John Krasinski, too. Something about it turns people from being civil face-to-face into gutless keyboard warriors who think themselves brave for turning their Twitter weapon on people from a distance. Worst part is I'm sure we've all done it. How is Twitter generally used today? You're on my side? Great. You agree with me about A? Great. You agree with me about B, C, D, 2? Great. You only agree with me 90% about M and N? You're my enemy. F you forever. Everyone attack that person.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's it.
We knew, this has been the way it's been for a few years. That's why when we knew, we had to talk about it before we started actually calling shit out if we were going to be willing to do it. But then at the end of the day, when we played by the rules, we still couldn't get a blue check even when we earned one. So why would going against the rules make a difference?
Yeah.
And we got tired of being, of sitting there watching shit go down that was crap and not being allowed to say anything because it's not professional of you to say something when you see people do shitty things. I'm like, hell no. That's what makes me mad. Because the professional person just sits there and stays silent while you watch shitty things go down. And I'm like, I don't know. No, I'm a professional. I'm going to call shit out. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mom. And that's kind of what got us in trouble. Anyway, we kind of got canceled from comics because we weren't on board with...
You asked one question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it took. Him asking, he's like... And it was an innocent question because we didn't know anything about Comicsgate or any of that stuff. You just simply said, wait, Marvel's numbers are down. This is bad. What happens if Marvel and DC go out? It might hurt the whole comic industry. This is a bad thing. That's all you did. Because
what I said, which was just armchair observation, because at that point we already kind of dipped out of comics because it didn't pay. But I was keeping tabs on the industry, and I didn't know anything was going on with Comicsgate or any of that stuff. And I was like, hey, this is not good. Comics is headed for a cliff here. Well, because I said that, and because Comicsgate people had said that, therefore the assumption was I was part of Comicsgate when I didn't even know it existed. I had no idea it existed, and I got blacklisted by so many people I've actually worked with.
And me being me wasn't going to sit there and take it, so I'm just like, oh, hell no.
So we're like, my feeling on it was like, if I'm going to be accused of doing it, fuck you, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to start calling out the shit the comic book.
And that's what we're doing, because we got told, I can't tell you how many years it goes that if you say something, even when you see something bad, you're unprofessional. It's okay that they're being unprofessional, but if you want to turn, you're going to be professional and let them do whatever the hell they want. And I was like, no.
So was it unprofessional to make comments about Harvey Weinstein? Like, don't say anything. Don't say anything because
your career might get canceled because you said something against him.
Your career might get canceled. Don't say anything. That's kind of what's going on. So the comic book industry, that's what brought us into talking about this kind of stuff on YouTube. But here we are with Twitter, and a lot of people, I think on both sides of the aisle, wherever you're at politically, it doesn't matter. I think everybody's starting to realize that Twitter is your enemy.
Twitter's just a shithole.
It's a shithole. And I think a lot of people are going to jump ship here pretty soon.
The fact they didn't give Ahmed Best a blue check till now proves.
As a marketing stunt.
Yeah, as a marketing stunt. Proves. Because the dude deserved it a long time ago. Yeah, and he is like a sweetheart, and they didn't give him one.
How can Ahmed Best not get a blue check, but somebody you've never heard of that literally wrote like 2 polygon
but had the right keywords in it gets a blue check. And you can't even apply for blue check, so how the hell did they get a blue check?
Good question. They probably knew somebody at Twitter, but Twitter's not biased at all. Anyway, we're going to talk about John Krasinski being canceled.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was like. I literally come on every day to be like, who the flip are they canceling today?
Oh, Aaron Paul's trending. He's probably
and John Krasinski was trending. And I'm like, okay,
How?
No, I think it was kind of poo that he sold his show that quickly. but it was his show and his right to do so.
It was his right to
but
do
I never thought that warranted being canceled over. And I was like, what the hell did he do now?
That's not the issue.
All I found, you actually found out what the issue was. All I could find was people standing up for John Krasinski being like, why the hell would you cancel John Krasinski? And it's like, is the dude's like, everybody likes John Krasinski. So.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a trolling, like, let's pick somebody that everybody likes and let's, now a lot of people asked before we did a video about John Krasinski and his Good News show. And he's from The Office. He's in Jack Ryan right now, I guess, on Amazon.
He was behind the Quiet Place.
Quiet Place. He's married to Emily Blunt. All indications is that the guy's pretty well liked, but he was targeted for cancellation.
Well, Stephen Miller, a lot of people said that they actually know him personally, and they said he's a sweetheart, and he's very nice to people, and he tries very hard to be fair, and he got canceled. So,
Again, you can agree with somebody 90%, 95% of the time. If you do not agree 100%, then you are canceled.
There's a lot of people I don't agree with 100%, but you know what? I don't think they should be canceled.
I don't know of too many people I agree with. We don't even agree 100%.
No, we don't. We actually, there's a lot of things we disagree on, and it happens all the time. And surprisingly, and we just like, okay, well, hey, we'll agree to disagree.
You say you're sleeping on the couch. I say I disagree.
No, that has never happened.
That's actually never
Even when I'm pissed at you, that has never happened. But, yeah, no, we don't agree on everything. We are not the same. I mean, how boring would life be if you're just married to yourself? That's just, there's a joke in there. I'm not going to make it, but I want to so bad. But,
I don't know. Anyway, some people are.
I want to, well, I'm going to make, the joke is obviously masturbation, but beyond that, wait,
what's that?
I have to now say that we need to change that word because it has the word master in it, and that is clearly bad. So we need a different type of word, like
self-wedding,
or self-bation, or
That sounds like you're basting a turkey.
Well, self-based. Some people it is.
Self-based. It says like self-basting turkey. I'm stirring in my own juices right now. That's what we're gonna call it.
I wasn't gonna say the word, but then I thought it in my head, and I'm like, oh, now's the perfect time to bring up the fact that should be problematic because it has the word master in it. Anyway,
John Krasinski is more wholesome. His show is more wholesome than
it is. Don't listen to me. Listen to John Krasinski.
Anyway, so here's the thing. This website outlined, because it's not, a lot of people aren't really talking about, I thought it was trolling. But somebody legitimately wanted to cancel John Krasinski because he plays Jack Ryan.
It's because you play characters that mean you're that character.
Because he's a CIA agent.
So any actor ever, black, white, otherwise, should be canceled if they played any kind of police, CIA,
authority
FBI,
figure, yes.
Whatever.
That's what's going on here. So the cancel culture is going strong on the internet. Recently, John Krasinski's name popped up with a hashtag, John Krasinski is over party, married to Emily Blunt, blah, 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 Office, Jack Ryan, Quiet Place. So here's the thing. More recently, he started a web series on Some Good News.
Right, he's trying to help people get through the pandemic.
Right, and then he cashed out.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he cashed out too quickly, and it was a little bit like, was this the plan? But even beyond that, he doesn't deserve this.
No, seeing his name
a smart business.
Seeing his name on top of Twitter trends left many fans shocked, and they couldn't help but wonder if K-pop stans had started. They do that. The truth was quite different. Apparently, it began when a girl, and we're going to talk about who this person is. She works for a YouTube show, or worked for
a famous one that we've heard of.
We're going to talk about that. That's actually part of the joke.
Yes, it is.
The truth was quite different. Apparently, it began when a girl tweeted a thread to cancel Krasinski for being a cop because he plays, Jack Ryan. So, and we know all cops are canceled. We know that Cops literally is canceled. Lego's canceled Cops. Anything cop related is being canceled.
Because don't you know, because there's a couple bad cops in the world, all cops are bad.
All cop, that's it. And that's also a hashtag, too. Okay, so I guess friends and family hate my Twitter effort to cancel John Krasinski for being a cop.
Because he's not a cop! He's an actor!
It gives them concern that I am considering all angles of whether or not John Krasinski is a copy. They say I am medically diagnosed with PTSD, and these tweets are, continued, the tweet read, further said, one of many paranoid delusions, and that if I take a chill pill, literally my community will come together in time to cancel John Krasinski.
What? This doesn't even make sense.
This is like a manifesto. if
one
that's
that doesn't
in
make
fact
sense.
necessary, which we will find out together. The lynch mob is already
Yeah, guess
ready.
what? No, but guess what? They found out together. Twitter wasn't having it. And they were not happy.
Well, it gets crazier. With that, I say au revoir. She then posted, know that if you don't hear from me while I'm out of the public eye of my meager following, my heart is still focused on abolishing police, tearing down the whole system, and of course, as always, canceling John Krasinski.
Sounds like she's a personal problem with John Krasinski. Was she mad because he didn't marry her?
I don't know. Was she mad because he was...
Or was she mad because she married Emily Blunt and she wanted to marry Emily Blunt? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Was she shipping John Krasinski with somebody else? Pinning it on her Twitter account. She posted, I will be back in all caps. A thread on canceling John Krasinski and mental health.
Well, there's definitely some things to be gleaned about mental health.
Yeah, and everybody's like, he's awesome. John Krasinski's awesome. Well, let's talk about who it is. Her name is Ellie McIlvaine, and she's an activist. But she worked for Good Mythical Morning.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. And I don't know if she still does, but this is who was responsible. And she sounds completely... I thought it was a trolling. Like, maybe this is a stunt by Good Mythical Morning to try to be like, who's the most harmless person we can cancel?
I don't think they would even go that far. Like they try very hard to be funny, but they very, very rarely go political. And like us, they're trying to avoid that. So I don't think that they would ever do this even as a joke.
Yeah, because she's a comedian, so I'm like, well, maybe this is just
they would never. I don't think they would ever do something like that as a joke.
But she sounds like she's got some issues. And so people found out it was her, and she works for Good Mythical Morning. But now she doesn't. Or at least she's not on, opinions are my own. I'm just one mentally ill, chaotic witch. Please cancel me so I can sleep.
Then just take yourself off Twitter.
Yeah, take yourself off Twitter. She took the mythical off of here. I will be back. I will be back. Now, what's really curious is the same time this whole thing went down with this Good Mythical Morning writer, Rhett and Link are looking for new writers for Good Mythical Morning. 17 hours ago. Do you think you have what it takes to write an episode of Good Mythical Morning?
I mean, that might be coincidental.
I don't think it's coincidental.
It's probably not, but it might be coincidental.
Enter the Mythical Beast Takeover to earn your shot at being one of 3 mythical beasts selected to write on a future episode of Good Mythical Morning. They
try very hard to be funny and not bring all that shit into it, because I mean, come on, you're never gonna make everybody happy, even if you have a lot of people agree with you, a lot of people are gonna disagree with you, and they always say don't talk about politics and religion for a reason. They're not supposed to talk about the two things they say never talk about because it always causes issues.
That used to be the case, but now
I know, but I'm saying that's what they always said. There was a reason why.
In Hollywood, they want to know they look at you first, they size you up. What kind of person are you?
Who do you sleep with? What
color are you? Etc. etc. And then
if you're good at something, is the very last thing they look at.
That is. Next is, what are your politics? Are you going to play ball? Quote, I'm using finger quotes. Play ball with the rest of us weirdos out here in La La Land. That's number 2. And then number 3, can you actually do the job?
Yeah.
Well, if you get 1 and 2 right, we can teach you how to do the job later. But you gotta get 1 and 2 right. But yeah, I think she's been canceled. From Good Mythical Morning.
I mean, because what her reasoning, clearly, let's take a moment to address the fact that if she does have mental health issues, she clearly needs to have that taken care of.
Yeah.
I understand. Some people do things that are like this because they and she's bragging about it. And you can say, well, you're assuming she has issues. She's saying she has mental health issues. And that's a problem. I think a lot of the chaos and the insanity on both sides. I'm not talking about just right now, just in general, on some of the extremists, is mental health related. But so I mean, that's why I don't, you can't always get upset with everybody because sometimes it's not an intentional thing. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say, I think the shutdown has amplified.
I agree.
People are already, we've got, suicides are going up. We've got people losing their jobs. They're feeling desperate, feeling hopeless. They're being bombarded with bad news every day, and they're soaking it in. And a lot of them are sitting at home without jobs. They're not getting out of their houses.
They feel hopeless.
Yeah, they're not connecting with other people, especially if you're in the city.
And that's why we're seeing suicide rates and stuff go up, which I don't understand why no one's addressing. I know some people who are, and I actually shared a person doing something, trying to do something about it the other day. But they need to be promoting some of these suicide awareness and suicide charities too, because that's actually going up over this. And we're talking about even young kids too. So there's a lot of issues here to unpack. But we're going to keep it general. This is just, This is, I mean, it could be a coincidence, but I don't think
I don't think it's coincidence. And here's what's going on. I saw a post yesterday. I can't find it right now, but it was talking about people working in software in game development right now, and they basically surveyed what the political leanings are, and they're finding out that like 30%, and this is why we're getting all this weirdness going on. 30% of them like consider themselves activists now. I think it's because they're getting younger people coming in, and it's this self-perpetuating thing where you've got younger people who have been kind of indoctrinated into activism from college coming in, and then the journalists kind of support that, and you've got all these people that all have the same ideals. But what's going on is there's a culture clash here, obviously, because Rhett and Link are our age, and they're going to be like, hell no, you're not going to cancel John Krasinski.
I think a lot of people just want to do something to matter, and they want to make a change, but they don't know how to do that. So that people channel energies into certain things, and some things are good, and some things are not so good. And then that's what we end up with. Everybody
has to have a reason to get up in the morning, every morning. Mm-hmm. And whether it's, people fill that hole with religion or a job or whatever, but if you don't have anything, or a cult, there's a need in there to have a purpose beyond just getting up and eating and pooping.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Because, especially like where a lot of these things are based, they have had limited. It's been very limited in what, in your interactions other than being online, which, leads to a whole other thing. But anyway, we got way off topic, which was, hey, Ahmed Best got a blue check. So, and what the hell? Why didn't he get one sooner?
So there we go. There's our good news. Our good news is Ahmed Best got a blue check. And also the good news on Twitter is that Twitter does not want to cancel John Krasinski.
And also, if you really want to work for Good Mythical Morning, now's your chance to do so. There is like all kinds of good news in this episode.
I should go work for Good Mythical Morning.
There you go. But if we have to move to California, that's not happening.
Hell no.
No offense to those who live in California, but I would never live in California.
I lived there before. It wasn't as crazy as it is now. It's been like a while, but it's been like 20 years. But yeah, okay, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.